The International Newsnet World Report is a national television news show available in more than 30 million homes. We broadcast daily real news the networks won't tell you. We are solely viewer-supported. That means you. You can donate at our website, inenworldreport.net. We hope you find the following interview informative and helpful.
Earlier today, Attorney General Alberto Gonzales announced his resignation amid a series of investigations being conducted by Congress. Gonzales is credited as an architect of the U.S. war on terror's legal tactics and had given legal opinions supporting a vast range of controversial actions, ranging from illegal wiretapping of U.S. citizens to advising the administration to violate the Geneva Conventions and the Convention Against Torture. Most recently, he has gotten into controversy in the firing of 9 U.S. attorneys, allegedly for partisan political reasons. Democrats have vowed to press on with ongoing congressional probes. Possible successors include Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff and Francis Fragos Townsend, the Assistant to the President for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism. Joining us now is Marjorie Cohn. Ms. Cohn is a professor at Thomas Jefferson School of Law and president of the National Lawyers Guild. She also is the author of the book Cowboy Republic: 6 Ways the Bush Gang Has Defied the Law. Welcome to INN.
My pleasure, Lenny.
What has gone on today? Why has this come about?
Well, evidently the Bush administration thought that keeping Alberto Gonzales as Attorney General was a worse political liability than keeping him around as insurance against another Attorney General that might really investigate and prosecute some of the Bush officials for the crimes that they've committed.
Well, let's look at the possible successors. Let's go right to that. Out of the frying pan into the fire, Michael Chertoff is certainly a controversial figure. Do you think that he would also honor Gonzales' mandate to keep the lid on things in Washington?
I suspect that whoever Bush nominates to replace Gonzales is going to convince Bush that he is going to salute and march to the Bush agenda, or should I say goose step to the Bush agenda, the way Gonzales has consistently.
Looking at that possibility, there is the nomination process. Is there also going to be an interim Attorney General before that nomination process? Is that going on? And how will they handle the congressional investigations that are going forward?
Well, Bush appointed Solicitor General Paul Clement as acting Attorney General until he nominates a permanent successor to Alberto Gonzales. I think it's going to be interesting to see whether, and according to the New York Times article this morning, Bush is not going to keep the position open very long. Keep in mind that Congress is on a recess now. It's a Labor Day recess.
Marjorie, but my understanding is there is a gentleman's agreement, if the word gentleman applies, that Harry Reid had intended to convene a special session of the Senate just to avoid recess appointments, and that the White House had agreed not to do any recess appointments so that Reid would not give him a hard time, let's just say. Is that still in effect now that this has happened?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's possible. I think that even if Bush were to make a recess appointment, that this would be a real bone of contention, and I don't know that Bush wants that, because there are already all of these hearings that have been convened. At least the Senate Judiciary Committee has issued a contempt citation for Harriet Miers and Joshua Bolten, and so there's all this stuff swirling around. But of course, ultimately, it will be up to the Senate to confirm or fail to confirm the appointment, and we'll see whether the Senate stands up to Bush. They certainly haven't been very good about standing up to him thus far, whether they were controlled by the Republicans or the Democrats.
Well, let's talk about standing up to Bush for a moment. There are several investigations going on in both the House and the Senate. How will this affect those investigations? Will it slow them down? Will it speed them up? Will it add fuel to them? Will it stop them? What's going to happen with these investigations?
Well, I would hope that they could do more than one thing at once. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, when asked why she was blocking any impeachment inquiry, said, "Well, we have so many other things on the agenda." And of course, people were joking that she had 5 or 6 children and managed to do everything at once. I don't think that this should slow down the investigations, the contempt investigations in the House or in the Senate on the U.S. Attorney firing scandal, which should go forth.
Will this affect in any way executive privilege?
Well, Bush will, if Gonzales is called to testify about the U.S. Attorney firing scandal or the warrantless wiretapping or whatever, Bush may well assert executive privilege, which he has done for everyone who has been called on this U.S. Attorney firing scandal. Now, will that be upheld? Certainly Alberto Gonzales will be out of office. He will no longer be part of the executive, but Harriet Miers isn't part of the executive either, and he wouldn't let her testify claiming executive privilege. So then the question is, will the congressional, whether it be in the House or the Senate Judiciary Committee, will they hold him in contempt for refusing to testify if Gonzales refuses to testify, and B, if they do, will the entire House or Senate confirm that contempt citation? Then C, the law says that once the Senate or the House issue a contempt citation, then the U.S. Attorney must take that contempt citation to the grand jury for possible criminal prosecution, but Bush has already said evidently that he will not let the U.S. Attorney do that. So then it reverts back to the Senate or the House's inherent contempt power, where they can actually try someone who refuses to testify or turn over documents on the floor of the Congress and imprison them in the cell in the basement of the Congress. They haven't done that since the 1930s, and given the way this Congress has just rolled over every time Bush says jump, they jump, I doubt that they'll do that.
Will the clock run out before this runs its course, before the Senate and the House go further steps?
That's what Bush is hoping. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, they have been holding hearings. That is one difference between the Republican and Democratic-led Congresses. The Democrats are holding hearings. Will they enforce these contempt citations? That's another issue.
Marjorie Cohn, thanks for joining us on INN.
My pleasure.